Broski getting D is very on character. So basically what you're saying is I'm getting D on Valentine's Day, right? Is that what you're saying? So last night, while I was fast asleep, Capcom did their draw for Capcom Cup. The group stages have been drawn, and I get to find out exactly what I have to deal with at Capcom Cup. So this is the outcome. These are the groups. There's me in Group D. I've got Bravery, who is a Cammy player. VX Bao, who I think currently plays Bison. Blaz or Blaze? Blaz? Does anyone know? Is it Blaz or Blaze? Sorry for mispronouncing. Just Blaz. Who is, I think, if I'm correct in saying, the youngest player ever to qualify for Capcom Cup. I think this guy's, I want to say 15. He's a Ryu/Ed player. He's a Chilean sensation of 15 years old, which is crazy to me. That's so wild, because, like, I don't know. Like, when I first joined the FGC, the term 09er was the insult they used to use to make fun of someone who started playing fighting games as late as 2009. Filthy 09er spotted. And here I am, in the Capcom Cup group stages, playing someone who was probably born in 2009. What a time to be alive. The boomer lifestyle comes for us all eventually. Please don't DI me. Okay, that's elder abuse. Just don't DI me. But yeah, incredibly strong, talented young player, up and comer. Even makes Ending Walker look old by comparison. Idom is in the group as well. You know, Street Fighter 6's strongest Street Fighter 6 hater. And finally, Emperor, who is one of, if not the strongest Chem players in the world right now. He won the UK Kings of the World qualifier right at the end of the season. I actually played Emperor, funnily enough. When I was in Japan, I got matched against him in ranked like 5 times in a row. So I've actually played a little bit against his Ken, and he is very, very good. As with the last year, this was a semi-randomized draw. They did have like reserved slots for each region so that you couldn't play someone from your own region. So that's why there's quite good regional variance across each group. But other than that, it was basically random. And it looks like mostly it has turned out fairly even. Like, it's not as bad as last year or the year before. Like, the last 2 years of Capcom Cup had like 1 or 2 pools that were like death pools. Like, what was the... Let me get up the death pool from last year. It was that one with like Angry Bird and stuff in it. So this was last year. It was Group F. I remember it was this one over here. Lashar, Mena, Angry Bird, Nero the Boxer, Kaba, and Ending Walker in one pool. That was the death pool. Absolutely diabolical pool. But I think they're better this year. I still think there is a little bit of imbalance. Like, I think, looking at it myself, I think the hardest pools here are probably F and G. You got Big Bird, Oil King, Xian, Yurio Valorio, Jack, and Lashar. Lashar is in Group F 2 years in a row. And in Group G, we got Juicy Joe, Kills You, Xiaohai, Kaba, Knuckledoo, and Nephew. Oh, Kaba, I just realized Kaba and Knuckledoo in the same pool. That should be spicy. Yeah, I mean, A is hard. They're all hard. Like, there's no like such thing as a free lunch out here, you know? I think they're all hard, but I do think, like, in my opinion, the hardest ones are like F, G, and maybe A as well. You think Group G is the hardest? I'm actually really excited to see what Juicy Joe does, because I've been Juicy Joe's strongest defender for a long time. I think Juicy Joe is like the single most interesting, like, upcoming talent in Europe right now. I don't even know if you could say he's an upcoming talent when he's in Capcom Cup, but like, Juicy Joe has been consistently improving at this game quietly, without much song and dance. And I think he's the best JP in the world right now. Actually, I don't know, Kakeru's back playing JP again. So maybe like closing in on the first place slot. Juicy Joe is really goddamn good. Depends if Kakeru's back on full-time JP, which I think he is. Lex, Angry Bird. Okay, so Soul is in this group. That's a rough draw, honestly. I think of the 2 Aki players at Capcom Cup this year, me and Soul, I think I've got the better draw of groups. That's a rough one. Lex, Angry Bird, Juninho Ras, Shuto, and Kusanagi. So that's 2 world-class Akuma players. You were actually picked in Group H, and due to being in the same region as Lex, you were moved? Oh, really? Oh, that's crazy. So I would have been in this pool? I didn't know that, because I didn't actually watch the thing because I was asleep at the time. So I would apparently I was picked into Group H originally, but they didn't put me in it because Lex is from the same region. I think I dodged a bullet there, honestly. This is a brutal pool. I was the only person that was redrawn. Damn. Rigged. I used my insider connections, my Illuminati connections. I called in a favor with Brian and Rob. Halibel, Jabiem, Kakeru and Takido in the same pool is interesting. So if you're confused about this, considering I was just talking about not being placed in the same pool as someone from the same region, the offline qualifiers are like separate from everything else. So because Takido won an offline qualifier, he doesn't get removed from a pool. So you can have like 2 Japanese players in this pool because Takido qualified offline. Group E is funny because like they quarantined all the Ed players together. Mr. Crimson's out here with Dalsim against Dava, Ed player, Fudo, Ed player, and Chris CCH, Ed player. Although I guess I've heard some people say Chris CCH is now playing Terry, but he might still be Ed for the big when it's $1 million on the line. I think Ed is a bit better pick there. Group Ed, yeah. I mean, personally, I was rooting for like an all Ken player pool. Like we just take all the Ken players and just seal them in a pool together and just like containment zone for Ken players, but doesn't look like that happened. So yeah, this is Capcom Cup. These are the matchups that I'm now going to have to be preparing for. Unfortunately, this will not be like on stream or content stuff because as much as I'd like to make content out of the training process for Capcom Cup, it's probably not a very good idea for me to be on stream in front of thousands of people being like, here's the strategy I'm going to use against IDOM. Because there's a good chance he might just watch it, you know? So I got to keep my cards close to my chest. But trust when I say that I am going to be doing lots of preparation. A lot of people over the last few days asked me, like, what do I want out of a pool? Like, is there any players that I do want to play? Is there any players I want to avoid? That kind of stuff. And my answer has kind of always been, I don't really give a shit who I play against at Capcom Cup, as long as they're not from my region. And even, like, expanding to Europe. Like, I got lucky here. There is no other European in my pool, which is kind of lucky because... And it's not because of, like, matchups or anything. It's just because the CPT format right now is so focused on only playing people in your area for the whole year. Like, I spent, you know, 5 World Warriors and a regional finals only playing UK players in every single tournament over and over and over again. I'm just like, it doesn't really feel like a global tour when the only people you play is the same local players over and over again. So all I really wanted out of the draw was just a bit of, you know, just to play different people. So I'm really glad that I've got a group of people that I've pretty much never played. Like I said, I've played Emperor in ranked a handful of times, but I have never played against Bravery, never played against VX Bao, never played against Blaz, and never played against IDOM in this game. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm lying. I have played against IDOM briefly. We played casuals before Red Bull Kumite. I forgot about that. So I have actually briefly played IDOM in a casual set, but it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I will simply walk in, and I will simply win the $1 million. It's just that easy. I mean, in terms of matchups, like character matchups, it's not too bad. It's not too bad for Aki here, because, like, Bravery plays Cammy, which is one of Aki's worst matchups, but I think I'm quite good at the Cammy matchup. I've played Hurricane 100 million times before. I think I've got that matchup quite, like, down to a good point now. VX Bao plays Bison, and I think Bison Aki is fairly even, if unstable. Blaz plays Ryu and Ed, and I think both those matchups are okay for Aki. Idom plays Manon, which is kind of awkward, but, you know, it's Manon. And Emperor plays Ken, which, it's kind of strange. Like, a lot of people recently have like, started, like, headcanoning that I hate the Ken matchup, because I made that video talking about Ken's strengths. I think Ken is annoying. I don't like Ken very much as a character, but, like, as a matchup for Aki, that's fine. I think, like, Aki Ken is, like, 5-5. I don't particularly mind that matchup. So, like, most of these are, like, evenish character matchups with the exception of Cammy, but I'm pretty okay with the way this turned out. Like, I'd rather fight this than, like, you know, 6 consecutive or 5 consecutive Akuma players. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if I want to do this or not yet. I'm still weighing this up, but I'm thinking maybe I might put together a vlog kind of video for Capcom Cup. Like, I might go out to the store, do something that I said I would never do, and buy a selfie stick. And I might make a vlog of, like, my Capcom Cup experience, but I don't know if I want to do that yet, because it's a lot of work on top of what I'm already doing right now, so I might do that. For me, I'm very anxious around, not the event itself, I don't mind Capcom Cup, that's fine, but I'm very anxious around, like, traveling and flying and stuff like that, so I feel like if I held a camera in front of my face, it would not be, like, you know, good content. It'd be me talking about all the things that I'm panicking about at the airport going wrong. If you want to see me standing in an airport talking about the many anxieties I have about losing my passport, losing my boarding pass, my luggage getting lost, my laptop getting smashed, not getting through security, not getting my visa proper, all of that stuff. If you want to hear my anxiety brain going into overdrive, then I guess that could be content, but I don't think it would be very fun. When it's Capcom Cup, it's the early March. It's like March the 3rd, 4th, 5th, it starts.